Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Is given by her Mataji, Caitanya Caritamrta, Madhya Lila, chapter 24, 138 verse onwards. Mataji, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please take over the call, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. All goes to all the Vaishnavas. We are going to read from Sri Caitanya Caritamrta, Madhya Lila, chapter 20. The 61 explanations of Atmaram verse. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnana Shalakaya Chakshurunditam Yena Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Caitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sadhujatam Sadhana Raghunatham Mitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savdutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shirada Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shiradhe Vrindavaneshwari Shubhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Haripriye Mancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvaya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from Sri Caitanya Caritamrta Madhya Lila, chapter 24, and starting from the text number 138. Devi Esha Gunamani Mama Maya Durattaya Mam Evo Ye Prapadyante Maya Metam Taranti Te. Yeah, just a second, I'm getting the Gita. Okay, so today's verse is 138, where one verse has been taken from Bhagavad Gita, from 7th chapter, and text number 14. We have to remember that Lord Chaitanya in this section is giving us the understanding of Prapta Swarupa. In this section, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking about the Mokshakamshis. And we know Mokshakamshis are of three types: Mumukshu, Jivan Mukta, and Prapta Swarupa. So Prapta Swarupa means self-realized or Brahman realized, or attainment of original eternal constitutional position, which is the real liberation or mukti. It's known as Prapta Swarupa. Prapta Swarupa means getting the Swarup back. And when we attain the Prapta Swarupa in 34, text number 134, Mahaprabhu speaking that Bhakti bole Prapta Swarupa, Divya Deho Pai, Krishna Guna Krishna Vaya Bhaje Krishna Pai. One who has attained his constitutional position by the strength of devotional service attains a transcendental body, even in this lifetime. Being attached to Krishna's transcendental qualities, he fully engages in service at his lotus feet. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaking about the main point that by rendering devotional service, we can attain our constitutional position. That means we attain transcendental body, even in this lifetime. This point is very important for us to realize. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's process is so powerful, and his assurance is also so powerful. By remembering this one point, will never be deviated from pure devotional service. We must have full reliance, full, complete faith, conviction in the words of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that by the strength of devotional service, we can attain everything. So, unless one is engaged in pure devotional service, we would not get anything, right? He would not get anything like attainment of constitutional position and attainment of transcendental body, even in this lifetime. So today's verse, so some verses are being given as evidence to prove that point. That is the 135, right? We heard the living entities and other potencies merge into Mahavishnu as the Lord lies down and winds up, destroys the cosmic manifestation. Liberation means being situated in one's eternal original form after giving up the changeable, gross and subtle bodies. So main point is that we must engage ourselves in devotional service. Without engaging ourselves in devotional service, we cannot attain. So main important is that engagement in devotional service. Also in that, in 36, Mahaprabhu, that by opposing Krishna consciousness, conditioned soul, one becomes conditioned and fearful due to the influence of Maya. By executing devotional service faithfully, one is liberated from Maya. So Prapta Swarupa is possible by executing devotional service. This is the point again Mahaprabhu is speaking. Prapta Swarupa means we can attain our liberated form. Prapta Swarupa by remain engaged, by rendering devotional service. And in 36 also, 37, one reference of shloka given in support of that point. And now one verse from Bhagavad Gita has been quoted in support of that point, means service. And this verse is very, very important to understand. This divine energy of mind consisting of three modes of material nature is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. This purport is also wonderful in the Bhagavad Gita purport. So I'm just reading just some little portion that Prabhupada is writing in the purport of the Bhagavad Gita verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has innumerable energies, and all these energies are divine. Although the living entities are part of his energies and are therefore divine, due to contact with material energy, their original superior power is covered. Being thus covered by material energy, one cannot possibly overcome its influence. As previously stated, both the material and the spiritual natures, being emanations from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are eternal. The living entities belong to the eternal superior nature, to the Lord, but due to contamination by the inferior nature, matter, their illusion is also eternal. The conditioned soul is therefore called Nitya-baddha, or eternally conditioned. No one can trace out the history of his becoming conditioned at a certain date in material history. Consequently, his release from the clutches of material nature is very difficult, even though that material nature is an inferior energy, because material energy is ultimately conducted by the Supreme Will, which the living entity cannot overcome. Inferior material nature is defined herein as divine nature due to its divine connection and movement by the divine will. Being conducted by divine will, material nature, although inferior, acts so wonderfully in the construction and destruction of the cosmic manifestation. The Vedas confirms this as follows: Mayam tu prakritim divyan, Mayinam tu maheshwaram. Although Maya, illusion, is false or temporary, the background of Maya is the Supreme Magician, the Personality of Godhead, who is Maheshwara, the Supreme Controller. So that is the point. Daivihi esha gunamai. This Maya Shakti of Krishna is divine. Why? Because the Maya is being conducted. Maya has divine connection with Krishna. So Maya's connection and movement by the divine will makes Maya so strong. In other words, Maya is always under the shelter of Krishna. And when living entities give up the shelter of Krishna by having independent attitude, by having the desire to become happy independent of Krishna, that means we give up the shelter. And then we come under the clutches of Maya. So therefore, on our own, with our own endeavor, we cannot get out of Maya. No matter how many ways we try, maybe millions of ways, millions of processes we may adopt, thousands of things we may do to get out of this miserable situation or clutches of Maya, to get out of the chain of repetition of birth and death. We are unable to do it because everything is being conducted by the will of the Lord. So in the background, Krishna is there. And Maya is under shelter of Krishna. She has been appointed by Krishna and empowered by Krishna. So therefore, we tiny souls, because of our misuse of our independence, we came into this situation. We have created our own inauspicious situations. No one is responsible for this trouble or inauspicious situation that we are now very much under the control of Maya and suffering. And Maya's two aspects or two energies are always acting on us. Those are known as Avaranatmika Shakti and Vikshep. Atmika Shakti. Maya has covered the Swarup knowledge of our Swarup. We have forgotten who we are. We have forgotten Krishna. Maya has covered our knowledge, means our cognizance of about our own Swarup. And Maya also made us forget Krishna, relationship, everything, and bound us tightly into this world by its illusory influence. Actually, material existence is there. It is not false. But when we give value in the material existence, that by dominating material nature, by lording it over the material nature, we can be happy. Because this material nature is the place for our enjoyment. The sense enjoyment is so strong. Desire for sense enjoyment is so strong that makes us fallen, sthana bhrashta, fallen from our original place, original swarupa, original activities, original consciousness, original ecstasies, original activities, original sentiments, mood, feelings, everything we have forgotten. This forgetfulness makes us conditioned. As long as we remain forgetful about our Swarup, our relationship with Krishna, and by engaging in the activities according to the relationship with Krishna, we will remain conditioned under the clutches of Maya. So Krishna is saying the main remedy of getting back the Swarupa, Prapta Swarupa, is surrender unto me. Exclusive surrender unto me. This surrender word is very important to understand. Surrender, when we take full surrender of Krishna, what happens first? What thing happens first? When a living being takes full shelter of Krishna or surrender completely unto Krishna, what is the first thing happen to the living entity? First thing happens that he becomes free from independent attitude. Karta Abhiman. He becomes free from that attitude completely. In other words, that independent attitude is removed by the mercy of Lord. That was the first cause of our fall down, right? That thinking I'm independent of that, developing the independent attitude. That means the misuse of our independence. Our independence means what? To remain always under the shelter of Krishna. That is the real meaning of freedom. We do not understand very properly. What is the actual meaning of freedom? Actual meaning of freedom means to remain in our constitutional position. And that is that we are subordinate, subservient, part and parcel of Krishna. Again and again, we are hearing this point about our Swarup, Krishna Swarup relationship. So after taking full shelter of Krishna, the independent attitude is removed. There's no necessity of it. Being a doer, being a controller, being an enjoyer, that mood is never, in the soul. It is superimposed on the mind, and because of that we are suffering. As soon as that is removed or that is given up, we attain peace and joy. Our Ananda Swarup is awakened. Our Bhakti Ras Swarup is awakened. It's so wonderful. So as soon as one is surrendered to Krishna, his karta mood is removed. And bhaktritva, kartritva and bhoktritva, and also desire for sense enjoyment is removed. He never sees himself as a controller. Therefore, he is never enjoyer, because he understands that the supreme controller is Krishna. We are controlled, and we understand the relationship. Janmadhyasya yataha. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is supremely independent, absolutely independent person. And he is Swarat and Avijñā, all cognizant. And he is Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. He is the cause of material energy, spiritual energy, or marginal energy. He is the source. Unless we understand these points, how can we take full shelter of Krishna or surrender ourselves? Then no one is independent. Krishna is Advitiyam or Advaitam. He is one without a second. So there's no one as independent. Everyone is his expansion. Krishna is the supreme transcendental being. And he comes down from that being transcendental, then he expands himself to this cosmic manifestation. There are demigods, there is Brahma, there are living beings, there is material nature, all are Krishna. His expanded energies. Still Krishna remains as transcendental person, personality of Godhead. We are individual souls, and we have given up our auspicious situation the day we had that independent attitude and desire for independently enjoy ourselves. Why Krishna all the time? Why? Let me also enjoy like Krishna. We became at some point competitor of Krishna. So therefore, this situation must be rectified. Otherwise, this Krishna is speaking, it is insurmountable, means it cannot overcome the material nature, cannot come out of the material nature, means clutches of material nature, because divine energy, because Maya is under the shelter of Krishna. She is being conducted by the will of the Lord, and we have given up the shelter of Krishna. That's why we are so weak, although we belong to the superior energy. So that's the point. So next line, Krishna says, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. When we attach ourselves to Krishna, when we associate ourselves with Krishna, then we also become empowered by Krishna, sheltered by Krishna, protected by Krishna. Then by the will of the Lord, Maya gives up that clutch, that gives up that claim on us. Maya then gives us up, releases us from her clutches, and we get auspicious shelter of Krishna. From that day on, our auspicious life begins. Auspicious life begins means we experience our Ananda Swarupa. We become blissful, completely free from anxieties, worry, mental problems. Nothing is there. Because we understand everything is Krishna, everything is Krishna's energy. We are surrounded by Krishna, and everything is under his control. Therefore, he is the enjoyer. He is the only enjoyer. Bhoktaram yagna tapasam, sarva loko maheshwaram. The moment we realize I am enjoyed and Krishna is enjoyer, and we engage ourselves in his service for his pleasure, without being engaged in the service of Lord, we cannot achieve the prapta surupa. That's the point. And surrender is the life and soul for a devotee. And surrender makes the soul so peaceful, nishkama. Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Ataev Shanta. Peaceful, very secured, happy inside, pleased and blissful, that he gives up easily that independent attitude, desire for enjoyment, sense enjoyment, everything seems so insignificant compared to the Sevananda, Krishna Namananda, Krishna Sevananda. Although we always hear this material world is Karagar, prison house, but the devotees make this material world as Krishna Sevagar, place for Krishna Seva. There is no misery at all. It's wonderful opportunity. Everything belongs to Krishna. Everything is Krishna's energy. Then we engage in everything in Krishna's service. That is the oneness. That makes Krishna Advitiyam. Everything is for Krishna, by Krishna, of Krishna, on Krishna, in Krishna. Krishna is all in all. So Mahaprabhu is making the point that by surrendering ourselves unto Krishna, we can go beyond the material, we can cross beyond the, cross beyond the material world, material nature, material existence, and attain our prapta sarupa. The whole section is about that, how to attain our prapta sarupa. As we know that Jivan Muktas are of two types, right? Jnane Jivan Mukta mane, or Bhakta Jivan Mukta, and Mumukshus are of three types. Krishna Mahaprabhu is speaking about Mumukshuvis, right? Mokshakanshis. Mokshakanshis. Mahaprabhu is speaking about Mokshakanshis. There are three types. One is Mumukshu, two is Jivan Mukta, three is Prapta Sarupa. Now we are in the section of understanding of Prapta Sarupa. Prapta Sarupa means who attains the original, eternal, constitutional position, which is the real liberation or mukti. So, again, we are hearing some verses, and in support of that point, already we heard one verse, that is Swarupena Vyavasthiti. Already, Mukti Hitva Anyatha Rupena Swarupena Vyavasthiti. Now, we are hearing another verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, quoted by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrta. So, again, we should not forget the point, spiritual body is attained only on the strength of bhakti. That's the point we discussed today in the text number 134 in this chapter. Right? In this lifetime, we can attain our original spiritual transcendental body by the strength of the bhakti, pure bhakti. So now we are going to the next text, and this is the quotation of a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Shreya Strim Bhaktim Udassate Vibho Klishyanti Ye Kevala Bodha bodhalabdhaye Shreyastrim bhaktim Shreyasitim bhaktim udassate vibho Klishyanti ye kevala bodhalabdhaye Tesham aso kleshala eva shishyate Nanyad yathasthula tushabhagatinam. So this verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam, so I am going to read the translation and purport from Srimad Bhagavatam. Translation. My dear Lord, devotional service unto you is the best path for self-realization. If someone gives up that path and engages in the cultivation of speculative knowledge, he will simply undergo a troublesome process and will not achieve his desired result. As a person who beats an empty husk of wheat cannot get grain, one who simply speculates cannot achieve self-realization. His only gain is trouble. Loving service to the Supreme Person is the natural and eternal function of every living entity. If a person renounces his own constitutional function and instead laboriously seeks so-called enlightenment through impersonal speculative knowledge, his result is simply the trouble and bother that come from following an artificial process. A fool may beat an empty husk, not knowing that the grain has already been removed. Similarly, foolish is the person who throws his mind again and again into the pursuit of knowledge without surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For it is the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is the very substance and goal of knowledge, just as grain is the substance and goal of the entire agricultural effort. Vedic knowledge, or indeed material science without the personality of Godhead, is exactly like an empty and useless husk of wheat. One may argue that by practicing yoga or cultivating impersonal knowledge, one can acquire prestige, wealth, mystic powers, or even impersonal liberation. But these so-called gains are actually useless because they do not situate the living beings in his constitutional position of loving service to the Supreme Lord. Therefore, such results, being superfluous to the living being's essential nature, are impermanent. As stated in the Nrsimha Purana, Patreshu, Pushpeshu, Phaleshu, Toeshu, Akrita, Labhyeshu, Tatsu, Bhaktya, Su, Labhye, Purushe, Purane, Mukte, Kim, Artham, Priyate, Prayatna. Since the visible personality of Godhead is easily attained by offering him such things as leaves, flowers, fruits, and water, which are all found without difficulty, why does one need to endeavor for liberation separately? So the process of devotional service to Lord Krishna is very simple. It is extremely difficult for stubborn, conditioned souls to completely humble themselves before the Supreme Personality of Godhead and absorb themselves 24 hours a day. Some sound is coming. Hare Krishna. Yes, thank you. The mood of loving service is anathema to belligerent, conditioned soul determined to defy God and enjoy When such stubborn conditioned soul attempt to bypass surrendering to God through proud attempts at philosophical speculation, austerity and yoga, they are turned back to the material platform by the powerful laws of God and violently merged into the heaving ocean of insignificance called the material world. Again and again we are understanding this point, that devotional service is so auspicious. It makes our life so auspicious. We attain our prapta sarupa, means we get back our original constitutional position, original transcendental body, transcendental form, and that is the real liberation. And this section we are understanding about the liberation from Maya and the resultant inauspiciousness, like fear, miseries, right? We become free from all things when we surrender and we get back to our original constitutional position. So after liberation, actual spiritual life begins. That's the point. Our liberated souls actually can worship Krishna perfectly. Liberated souls enjoy spiritual bliss. As long as we are conditioned, we cannot enjoy the spiritual bliss. Means we cannot experience, I mean to say. And atheism or impersonalism does not give us that rasa, because there's no service to the Supreme Lord. Impersonalists, they see everything is Brahman, but material nature is the unconscious Brahman, right? We are conscious Brahman, living beings, and Krishna is the supreme conscious Brahman, and he's a person. We are person, conscious Brahma. Sarvam idam khalu, sarvam khalu idam Brahma, sarva khalu idam Brahma. That is their understanding, impersonalist. But they do not understand all the differences very well. This material nature material energy is the unconscious Brahman, and jivas are the conscious Brahman, but tiny. And Krishna is the supreme conscious Brahman. Unless the tiny conscious Brahman engages in the service of the supreme Brahman, there's no auspiciousness in his life. Ultimately, living beings become atheist because the rasa is not there. The pleasure we experience through the service only. For example, in this material world also, right, we enjoy so many relationships. How? By serving others. Without service, there is no rasa, no pleasure. So, engaging in devotional service awakens the bhakti rasa. That is so blissful and very nectarian, tasty. We taste. Life becomes so full of pleasure, full of bliss, happiness. We experience happiness. So atheism makes or generates the sense enjoyment. Actually, the more people are becoming atheists now, modern civilization is making more and more people as atheists, right? Atheists are very much absorbed in sense enjoyment because atheism gives birth to the sense enjoyment. As soon as we have given up the service, our focus immediately started, on sense enjoyment. These things go together. Seva Vaimukhya. As long as we become averse to the service of the Lord, to that degree we are after sense enjoyment. And sense enjoyment leads to bondage, right? We are tightly bound up. We are entangled so tightly with the chain of birth and death. Unless this tiny soul, the conscious Brahman, the living force, tiny living force, the Jivatma, is engaged in loving service of Lord, there's no auspicious, there's no relief also from anything, any miseries. There's no way to become free from miseries. So this point is here. My dear Lord, devotional service unto you is the best path for self-realization. Means we realize ourselves by engaging ourselves in devotional service to the Supreme Brahman, Absolute Truth, Krishna. By just being jigyasu, inquisitive about knowledge, is not all in all. We have to become jnani. Jnani means jnani bhakta, who surrenders unto Krishna. Because he understands the conclusion of knowledge is to become surrendered unto Krishna, to engage in his service, devotional service. That's why in Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, right? 4 types of udara, they are out of them jigyasu and jnani. Jigyasu is simply inquisitive. Inquisitive means, that is the point here is coming. Kevala bodho labdhaye. Kevala bodho labdhaye, the word for word meaning, exclusive of knowledge for the achievement. Knowledge is only thing. Means only inquisitive about knowledge. But jnani means he goes further and realizes the end of the knowledge is to become surrendered unto Lord and engage in devotion service. That is the point Krishna also said in Bhagavad Gita, right? Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapatyate. Right? Vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlava. After many, many births and deaths, one can come to this platform of knowledge. Oh, Vasudeva is everything. Everything is Vasudeva, is a fact. Everything is Krishna's emanations. Krishna has expanded into everything. All that we are seeing are varieties of Krishna. But Krishna is transcendental being, remains as Krishna. He is completely aware of everything, cognizant of everything directly and indirectly. Avijñā, Swarat, he is the supreme absolute independent person. And Sarva Karana Karanam is the cause of all causes. Everything is his energies. He is completely aware of the interactions of his own energies. Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate. So it takes a mature knowledge in the consciousness, in the heart, to surrender unto Krishna. And that makes us self-realized. That's the first point. Devotional service unto you is the best path for self-realized. If someone gives up that path, means path of devotional service, and engages in the cultivation of speculative knowledge, just going on gathering knowledge, he will simply undergo a troublesome process. Why? And will not achieve his desired result, means will not be self-realized. heart will not be pacified, heart will not be happy, peaceful. As a person who beats the empty husk of wheat cannot get grain, one who simply speculates cannot achieve self-realization. Just if we remain on the platform of jigyasa, inquisitive, we would not become self-realized or would not gain self-realization. His only gain is trouble because he has not understanding the substance is not there. Substance is Krishna, Vastavam Vastu. Krishna is the Vastav Vastu, substance of everything. Krishna is the real substance in everything. Krishna is the real person behind everything. If we do not see Krishna, if we do not engage ourselves in the service of Krishna, how can we gain this self-realization? So bhakti, again, self-realization means prapta sarupa. Again, self-realization means prapta sarupa, attainment of original, eternal, constitutional position. And we have to come to this platform before entering to the spiritual world. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining the process very elaborately, very nicely. Bhakti, 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 repeatedly saying that. Bhakti, bhakti, bhakti. We must remember, Mahaprabhu said 134. I'm sorry, text number 134, right? Bhakti. That in this lifetime we can attain our prapta sarupa, our original constitutional eternal position. Means we can attain our spiritual body fully. That spiritual body will be developed, and further it will develop more into the spiritual world, in the spiritual atmosphere. In this way, we will be reinstated again in our original position, from where we have fallen. We have been removed from our original spot, original position, original activities, original characteristics, everything. Removed means we have been removed from that place, but still it is preserved now. Maya has covered the knowledge of everything. Now whole process is to uncover the layers over the soul and come to the most glorious position as a soul. We must be situated in our own glories as a soul. Prapta Sarupa. That's the point Mahaprabhu is speaking. Prapta Sarupa. We should never forget this point. Prapta Sarupa. How to achieve Prapta Sarupa. Again, in the 34, text number 34, I love it. Bhukti bole prapto sarupa divya deho pai Krishna guna Krishna hiya bhaje Krishna pai. One who has attained his constitutional position by the strength of devotional service attains a transcendental body even in this lifetime. And what happens after that? Being attracted by the Lord Krishna's transcendental qualities, he fully engages in service at the lotus feet of Krishna. That's our eternal life. So, in the Bhagavatam, some points are very beautifully given by Srila Prabhupada. This purport is given by Srila Prabhupada. Loving service to the Supreme Person is the natural, eternal function of every living entity. Substance is Krishna. So if we deny God, that means what is there to do? Just sense enjoyment. Because soul is so active. Sense enjoyment means making our life more and more miserable. Janiya Shunya Vishuk Khainu. We drink poison more and more. If a person renounces his own constitutional function and instead laboriously seeks so-called enlightenment through impersonal speculative knowledge, his result is simply the trouble and bother that come from following an artificial process. These are all artificial process. Two ways we can pursue our lives, material way or spiritual way, right? And we must remember one thing, that the living being has connection with Ananda, because Krishna is Ananda Swarup. We are also the part and parcel of Krishna, Ananda Swarup. And we have natural connection with Ananda. We are seeking all the time Ananda. Two ways we can seek Ananda: by Krishna Sevananda or by pursuing material life. By pursuing material life, we cannot get the Ananda which we are longing for. It's a wrong way. We are not designed to get pleasure by pursuing material life. We are never designed. We should not think that Krishna has put us here to just for giving us trouble. It is not. It is not the case. Krishna made all arrangements to make us return to our original position, Prapta Sarupa, so we can achieve our birth right, means to become blissful, happy, eternally. Prapta Sarupa. Everything is the arrangement for steering us to that point. Go to attain your Prapta Sarupa in this lifetime. And that is the special benediction for human being. In this lifetime we can achieve our Prapta Sarupa and spiritual body. We should not take this knowledge very lightly. This knowledge should be our life and soul, right? Instead of being engaged in the service of Lord, any other things we do without the knowledge of the soul is for increasing our trouble, nothing else. We create our own trouble, we invite our troubles. So in the future I'll be suffering more and more. Only auspiciousness is remain engaged 24 hours a day, out of 24 hours. With the full knowledge of the self. I am soul, part and parcel of Krishna. We should not forget this. That's why Krishna Smriti is very important. Smartabhya satatam Vishnu, vismartabhya na jataji. We should not forget Krishna and Krishna's part and parcel. See, Krishna, as soon as we say Krishna, what do we see? Here is Krishna and there are all his energies. How can you forget yourself? You cannot forget. If you don't forget Krishna, you won't forget yourself also. You would not forget anything. You see material world as Krishna's energy, living beings are Krishna's energy, part and parcel, and here is Krishna. Remembering Krishna means remembering our own selves too. Remembering the Tattva, very wonderful. Tattva, Shakti, everything. Right? So that is the point. The point is Krishna is the substance in everything. He is the substance. He is like the sun, blazing sun, shining sun, and Maya is like on the guard. To remove the Maya's clutches on us, We have to bring Krishna in our life. For example, to remove the darkness, we have to bring the light in, right? Similarly, we have to bring Krishna, knowledge of Krishna in our life. Consciousness must be always remain connected with Krishna, right? So we'll be always in Krishna's presence, right? And there will be no Maya. Maya will release us from her clutches. But that's the point. So Prabhupada is writing, although the process of devotional service to Krishna is very simple, it is extremely difficult for a stubborn conditioned soul to completely humble themselves before the Supreme Personality of Godhead and absorb themselves 24 hours a day in His loving service. See, surrender means to become subservient to others, right? Service takes place between enjoyer and enjoyed. We have to put ourselves into subordinate position. We are enjoyed. Krishna is the enjoyer. Krishna is the predominating absolute truth. We are predominated tiny living beings, right? So unless we become humble, we cannot surrender ourselves. Unless we surrender ourselves, we cannot absorb in the thoughts of Krishna 24 hours a day. That means we cannot remain engaged in the service of Lord 24 hours a day. So this is the main point. We have to increase our devotional service. We have to understand the science of devotional service more and more in depth. More and more in depth we have to understand how to achieve full benefit of human life. How to achieve Prapta Swarupa in this life. That's the point. How to achieve the Prapta Swarupa in this life. So that's why Srila Prabhupada is saying that we should not remain averse to the service of the Lord. We should be attracted to the service of the Lord, and enthusiastically go on serving the Lord. It is so enchanting, the service. We say the material world is very enchanting. Nothing compared to the devotional service. Devotional service is so attractive. Devotional service is so enchanting. The more we do devotional service, more we hanker to do. We feel, I have done nothing. I'm not doing anything actually. Let me do more. Let me do very wonderful things for Krishna. The hankering for rendering service increases day by day. It's so enchanting, attractive, and pleasing and blissful. Gradually, we become purer, and our spiritual body develops, and ultimately we attain Prapta Swarupa. Okay, in this lifetime. So, all right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for listening to this class. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Is there any question or comment here? You may ask now.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Very, very beautiful class. Very nice. I think you spoke about the entire process of how it all starts with being humble. Without humility, you cannot surrender. And without surrendering, you really cannot relish Krishna consciousness and the complete benefits of it. Very nice, Mataji. Very lovely class. Thank you so much.
Thank
Mataji,
you.
did you stop at Mataji?
Yeah. Let me go. I think next verse. The first verse was 38, 138, 138, and then, oh, one does not, yeah, 139, did I skip? Ore Baba. Oh, I skipped 139, let me finish. Bhukti binu mukti nahi, bhakti mukti hai. One does not attain liberation without rendering devotional service. Liberation is attained only by devotional service. Then I went to the next verse, 140. Yes, I did the 140. I did 140.
Thank you, Mataji. That was good. Yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you.
The class was really, really nice. Very insightful class. Just, the more we hear about surrender, and actually surrender is very difficult in one sense, but at the same time, devotional process is the most easy method. So it's so inconceivable. And I think your entire class was a nice eye-opener to this topic. Thank you very much, Mataji. I enjoyed the class very much.
Thank you. Anything else by anyone? Any comment or question? Okay. So I think we can end the class.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, thank you, Mataji, for a lovely class. If no one else has any questions or comments, we can end this class. Vancha kalpataru.
Okay. Sarutyascha kripa sindhuvaiva cha
Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Caritamrta ki jai, Her Grace Savithri Mataji ki,
Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premananda ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Brinda ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Good night.